and welcome to the Financial Freedom Now podcast. Thank you so much. Today we have a very, very special edition because I've got a guest. Woo! Thank you so much, Esther. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Now podcast. It's a Financial Freedom Now show. We're super excited to have you on board, and we're looking forward to a fantastic session with you because I know you've got a lot of stuff. So I met Esther on social media. So the great social media, and I saw what she was about and the things she was talking about, which align so much with what we have on Financial Freedom Now show. So I thought she'd be a wonderful person to drill down and help you on your journey to financial freedom now. Welcome, Esther. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much, Toyin, for having me. I've been looking forward to having this interview with you all week. I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about because I love talking about money. You cannot shut me up when it comes to talking about money. I have no shame at all. So I'm glad that I can have this type of conversation with somebody like yourself.
Oh, super great. You're in the right place because I don't shy away from money talks either. I love talking about money. I love financial freedom. So guys, you can hear already that you are on for a very, very great time. Okay. I was going to sort of do a quick introduction, but I think the best way to introduce you would be actually to give you the floor and you tell us, who is Esther? What is this whole thing about you talking about money, financial freedom? What does it mean to you? I just give it almost like an open check. Let us in into Esther's world.
For sure. So my full name is Esther Bangura, and I am a financial coach. My financial business is called Boss of My Money. I have been in business, it's coming up to 4 years now, but it just seems like yesterday. And I've worked with women, I've worked with men, I have worked with couples, students and graduates, and essentially it's helping them to manage their finances, but not just giving education, because I feel like there's so much information out there already. If you want to know how to get rich, how to make money, there is, a world of information out there. But what I found is that people don't always know how to implement the knowledge that they have, right? And so I focus very much on coaching. So which is basically where I work one-on-one with people and I help them to get to the bottom of their financial challenges. I help them to establish their goals and then to actually take the necessary steps that they need to take in order to see their goals come to pass. So I'm a contractor. So I contract as a transformation project manager, and I also run my business on the side. I did quit my 9-to-5 job last year. And when I quit, I had 2 months break, and then I decided to go into contracting and also continue to build my business. So I am a wife. I am from Sierra Leone. I'm a foodie. I love food. I love to eat. And I also just like to be around people. I love just good company. I love gifting people. I'm a big gift giver. I love celebrating people. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. I mean, that is already, I'm super excited. I think I couldn't ask for someone better to come on the show. That is absolutely great. It just feels like, wow, where she got the time from? How are you able to pack all of that into one? And then do you sometimes get confused which hat you've got on at any point in time? But it's just super great to see a fellow woman doing great stuff, and absolutely chuffed. Well, okay. Can I just, let's start off the conversation with, in terms of the financial freedom, because I still want to get back into what you are about and some of the things you mentioned. But I just want to start straight off is, how do you define financial freedom and what does it mean to you?
So this is a complex question, right? And it has different layers. And so for me, financial freedom isn't just for wealthy people. I think before we started recording this podcast, or maybe at the introduction, you mentioned that, financial freedom or financial independence, it's not far-fetched, right? So it's not just for wealthy people. It's not just for white people, Caucasian people. Financial freedom is for everybody. Anyone can achieve financial freedom. I think being financially free essentially means different things to different people. So it's important to understand that for ourselves, but it's important to know that it means different things for different people. So you as an individual, you have to define it for yourself. And so each person will define it differently because we all have different goals, right? We all want different things in life. Essentially, financial freedom means being financially stable, right? Being able to pay my bills, every month, being able to afford my lifestyle, not worrying about money, being comfortable, whether you are somebody who is renting or own a home, you can be comfortable at both places. So that's why it's important to define it for yourself. Having money to deal with emergencies, life is going to happen. So for me, financial freedom is being able to take care of those things that happen unexpectedly or that I may not want. So instead of it becoming something that throws me off completely, it just becomes, an inconvenience. And my favorite is financial freedom means me spending money on the things that I love without feeling guilty. I'm a woman of pleasure. I love experiences. I love to go out. And I don't want to have guilt over my enjoyment, over my leisure. I want to do it freely. And I think there are levels when it comes to financial freedom. The goal is for you to keep evolving, to keep growing on your journey. So, for example, I could start off by saying, for me, financial freedom is having £500 a month. And actually, I'll give you a real life example. When I started my financial journey, in that moment in time, I was £800 short every month, which meant that I could not pay all of my bills. I had to decide every month who is getting paid. I will call my creditors and say, hey, I paid you last month. I'm just letting you know this month I can't pay you because I have to pay this other person that I didn't pay last month. And so in that moment, financial freedom was, I just want to be able to pay my bills. After I was able to increase my income, financial freedom became, I have £18,000 of debt. I need to become debt free. So in that moment in time, becoming debt free was what financial freedom meant to me. And I would just add as well that, financial freedom isn't just about having money. It goes beyond being rich, right? It goes into, yes, you're able to make money, but you're also able to sustain the money that you're making, right? And you're not putting the pressure of where that income is coming from in one place, right? You're able to diversify your income stream. You're able to make money in different ways. So for me, someone else, a company can pay me for the skills that I have, right? But also I can pay myself through my business with the skills that I have. So it's important to know that financial freedom is not just about having money. It's what you do with that money and also what that money can do for you. It's leaving a legacy, right? It's knowing that one day I'm not going to be here, right? But what do I have to say for being on this earth? Like life is, and as much as we talk about financial freedom, it's not all about money. But then at the end of the day, you want to make life easier for your children and children's children. So thinking about legacy, thinking about all of this wealth, I'm not going to be able to take it with me, but how can I make my children's life and their children's life easier? So yeah, I can go on. This podcast can just be about what financial freedom means to me.
No. I mean, all of what you said, it's your answer was very rich. You had different layers to it, like you rightly said at the beginning. And I think the main thing I could get from just sort of joining all the dots together was the fact that financial freedom to you means the freedom to choose. And oh my goodness, that is massive, because you being able to choose the life you want to live, that freedom to do that is as simple as it sounds, it is everything. And I like the examples you gave, and I think it was key for you to sort of, I think one of the things I was looking out for there was you and you sort of nailed it, is understanding that financial freedom would mean different things to a lot of people. Now, the underlying thing of financial freedom in my journey has been the ability to choose, the ability to not be slaved away, the ability to live the life you want, design the life that you want. So for me, and as much as we want to say, well, financial freedom isn't all about the money. Money is a common denominator to allow you do a lot of those things. So I think it's just, yeah, the layers are, because and the other thing I was going to actually touch on, which you almost answered in there, is the misconceptions about financial freedom. And I like how you just sort of roped it all in there, because like you rightly said, financial freedom, money, financial independence, it knows no, it doesn't know the sex, it doesn't know color, it doesn't know height, or really nothing. So I like the way you roped it up in there to just answer the full question. So thank you so much for that very rich answer. And wow, I mean, I smiled and chuckled when you said you speak to your debtors, you got paid last month, you're not getting paid. And that's to show the fact that financial freedom is a journey, isn't it? Isn't something that you wake up one day and say, I have become, right?
Exactly. And I think a lot of people want to be financially free. They have the desire. And although it's available to everybody, like what you mentioned, financial freedom does not discriminate, right? It's not biased. But I also feel that most people are not willing to do the work that it's required. So although it's available to everybody, it doesn't mean that it's easy, right? It's not an easy thing. Actually, becoming financially independent, as accessible as it is very difficult, because you have to, I believe that your financial journey is also a personal development journey, right? Money is a reflection of who you are as a person. Your money values, your values in life is in general, your ethics, how you feel about yourself, how you think about this world, how you view, the world that you live in. So as accessible as it is, you have to do the work. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to gain a different perspective. You have to be willing to be patient. You have to have discipline. Like, it's all the things that most people are not willing to do the work for. That's why not everybody is rich and everybody is financially independent, because maybe you're not willing to do the work that they have done. So I think that plays a big role as well.
Oh, thank you. It's almost like you're taking a sneak peek into my notes here, because you literally, I've got a few questions that I wanted to ask you, but I also did want to dig deep into who you are and how you sort of done it. But it's almost like you're sort of going on to my next questions. The question I was going to ask is in terms of what sort of lifestyle, work ethic, skill set do I need to actually be financially free? Now, do you reckon that budgeting is one of those things that needs to be done? And if so, what are the strategies you would say anyone looking to achieve this lifestyle, achieve financial freedom, what are the strategies they need to actually create and stick to, like you rightly said, because it is not just there is some hard work involved in this. What are those things, and how do I actually create them and stick to them?
So as you mentioned earlier, that financial freedom is a journey, right? And I think on any journey, you have to know that there are many destinations to your ultimate destination, right? If you're going on a long journey, you're not just taking one straight path. Usually you'd have to stop off, for a break, stop off for food, stop off for petrol, that kind of thing. So knowing that it is a journey, knowing that there are key milestones that you want to achieve in that journey, and knowing that depending on where you are on that journey will determine what goals you need to focus on. So I personally find that in today's world, people are trying to do too much. I'm just like, you're doing too much. Just chill. Like, you're earning £2,000 and you want to do everything with this £2,000. It's like, no wonder why you're stressed. No wonder why you're not able to fully achieve one goal, because your hands is in everything. So know it's a journey, know that there are key milestones. Budgeting does play a role for sure, but I would say, first of all, it's the ability to make money, right? You can't budget if you don't have an income. So your ability to earn money, So that goes into you developing your skill set, you being able to bring value to the marketplace. The more value you bring to the workplace, the more they will pay you. The bigger the problems you solve, the bigger your salary. The more unique this problem you solve, the more you can demand a higher salary. So I think being able to make income and knowing that your income can't just stay the same, right? Inflation is going up, cost of living is going up. So if you've been earning the same money for like 3-4 years, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice. So being able to earn income and continuing to increase that income is important. I believe in paying yourself first, right? And I think for many people, they're not able to achieve financial independence because I was of this mindset where I was very good at earning money. I would get promoted every 3 years and I would level up my skills, but I would first pay all my bills and spend, and then I would decide if I had anything to save or invest. When I started my financial journey, I flipped that. I said, well, no, I'm going to save 10%. Whether I have the money, I don't have the money, I am saving 10%. The tax man has taken their money, so I deserve to also invest in my financial future. So I started off with saving 10, I'll give 10%, save 10%, invest 10%. So that meant that what I had left was realistically what I could afford to live on. So I feel that a lot of people, you know, they are living above their means. They are spending way too much on their lifestyle than they are actually laying a foundation for their financial freedom, right? So paying yourself first, I would say, is the second thing that you need to do. And this will mean different things for different people, right? For some people, it could just be, you know what, let me just set aside £200 every month. For some people, it could be a specific amount. For some people, it could be a percentage, right? So you will decide what that is. But then every year you want to increase that because your salary is going to increase. Things are going to cost more. Your goals in life are going to get bigger, right? So you want to be able to set money aside for that. Another thing is that as you're paying yourself first, you know, building a savings pot for that rainy day. In life, nobody wakes up saying, oh, I really wish something will break. I really wish my fridge, my Samsung, £2,000 Samsung fridge would just stop working, you know, or my washing machine would just stop working. No, but these things happen. So you are aware of the risks. You know that no job is safe, right? And COVID was a clear example of that. You know, people that were in their 9 to 5 that felt very secure, you know, in their stable income. Well, when COVID happened, they cut most people's salary by 20%. So now, where are you going to find that 20%? All you knew was your job. So having that savings, and I used to say, have 3 to 6 months. Now I'm telling people, you need to have 12 months of savings. If you are really serious about this financial independence, you need to have at least 1 year of savings. And there's different reasons why. In case you lose your job, in case you're off sick for long term, and maybe your employer or your business is not, they're not able to pay you off sick for, you know, some jobs it's like 3 months or 6 months, right? Maternity leave. I work with so many women who are not planning for maternity leave. And it's just because they don't have any savings. So guess what? They struggle with a new baby, low income. So the stress of having to adjust to that, and then now you don't have money for bills. They also have to rush back into work because, you know, they didn't plan to, and they'll rather spend more time with their new baby. So there's different reasons. You could become ill, right, and not be able to work. You could form a disability. So I've never met anyone who was regretted having savings for when they needed it, right? But you regret it when you need it and you don't have it. So for me, you're better off just having savings. Another thing I want to touch on, and these things for me are the building blocks of financial freedom. I can say to you, and yes, you do have to invest in property. You do have to invest in the stock market. You should think about a side hustle, you know, something that you enjoy doing, that you're good at, that people will pay. All of these things are important. But if you don't have these building blocks, even when you're building those things, you find that, you know, you have lots of property, but then you have so much debt that by the time we calculate, your net worth is zero. In fact, it's minus. So even though you have all of this stock market, you have all of this, it's not profitable to you. But the final thing I would say is to pay off debts as quickly as possible. Debt is one of the major obstacles when it comes to building financial freedom. And yes, we can talk about good debt and bad debt, but I feel like if you don't understand money management, you shouldn't even be going near good debt, because that good debt that should be good, you will now go and give it a bad name because it will become a bad debt for you. So I believe that anybody that has debt is a reflection of actually who you are with money, right? It shows a lot of things. And yes, some people find themselves in unfortunate situations where they have to turn to credit card. But again, if an emergency happens and you turn to credit card, that means you don't have savings, right? Because credit card is not your second income stream, right? The banks know that 7 out of 10 people that they give credit cards to will not pay it in full. So they're happy to not make money from the 3, but they know that they're getting that regular interest income from the 7. So I think it's important to educate ourselves about money. Even if there's something that's good out there, ask yourself, is it good for me? And am I at that place where I can implement this thing and it be good for me? Otherwise, it will end up being a bad thing. So becoming debt-free, paying down your debts, reducing your liabilities. And then that way, when you're building wealth, once you've got rid of your debt, right, you're paying yourself first. You've built that consistent habit of knowing that it's not everything that I earn, I have to spend, right? There's a scripture in the Bible about the ants, that in the summer, the ants, as much as it's enjoyment, you see them going around, that's their hustle season. They're gathering all the food, all the barbecue food, all the wedding food, all the party foods. They're gathering it and they're storing it because they know winter is coming. And when winter comes, I am not going to be able to go out there and get food. And if the ants are thinking that way, we should also adopt that lifestyle. But there are many things that you can do to achieve financial freedom. But I think these are the foundational things that people overlook. And then it makes doing the other things that can be easy much harder. And you mentioned budgeting. And I think anybody that knows me will be like, Esther hasn't talked about budgeting. This isn't the Esther that we know. Because for me, budgeting is a foundation as well. It goes in with those 3 things that I mentioned. Budgeting is literally you being in control of what's coming in and what's going out. I think a lot of people feel like money just happens to them. And it's like, well, no, you intentionally work for your money. You know what your expenses are. You plan for that. And you plan in advance. You don't plan after you've got paid. Because 9 out of 10, you've already spent that money in your head, right? So you want to plan first on paper. And there's different ways that you can budget. There's different tools you can use. When I first started, I was literally just budgeting on a piece of paper. I got a ruler, I draw some lines. This is my income, these are my expenses. And then over time, as I got comfortable, I learned how to categorize, and because you have eyes on your money, you're able to be aware of your spending. So a lot of people, the reason why they ignore budgeting or even writing down their expense is because they know that I should really not be spending my money the way that I am. But when you sit down and you write it down, you become aware. You're like, yesterday I went to Nando's. Today I went to Nando's again. And it's not like I don't have a fridge full of food. You become aware. And that's the first place, just having that awareness. From that awareness, you can now start to make decisions to say, okay, I enjoy Nando's. I live a busy lifestyle. So it's likely that maybe once in the week, I am going to get a takeaway or I am going to go out to eat because it's what I enjoy doing. But then you're being intentional about that. And you're saying, actually, instead of going 2 days a week, let me go 1 day a week. And if going to Nando's, every 2 days in the week is your thing, then increase your income to be able to live that lifestyle, but not at the, not putting your savings, not putting your investment at risk just because you want to go out to eat. So budgeting is key. Budgeting is essential.
I like that, and the last bit there, which is one of the things that because I want to make this as practical, and I'm conscious of we're sort of going out of time now, but it's just so much that you've got in there. That was a full-on masterclass, and you might need to go over and listen again to what Esther's just said. It is a full-on, and I think this is the fundamentals of actually your financial literacy. And the truth is, a lot of us have grown up as adults, and we never had any principles. We just hate life, and then we started off, and no one actually sat us down. It's unfortunate that some of these things are not being discussed in school settings. So for a lot of people, it is very difficult understanding that concept. We just get on. But there's the angle you mentioned there, which I'm very, very big on. I'm very big on people actually increasing their income, because I just imagine an adult, you probably are married or single, but you've got dependents, you've got kids, and you're now in this position where you almost felt like you've missed that foundation, and you're in the position where you now have all of this liability, all of these payments to make. And then Esther is saying, well, budgets, don't spend this, don't do that. It's like, well, I'm already committed to this spend. How do I then go about just going ahead to do these things? And I think you sort of almost answered that at the beginning. And something I'm very big on is in terms of income stream. I always say that gone are the days where having one income stream, having multiple income stream was a luxury. It's no longer a luxury. It's something everyone should aim for, especially if you are on this journey of financial freedom. You can no longer rely on the one income. I think Esther rightly said that a lot of things has happened over the last few years to teach us the fact that having a savings pot is very important. Having your emergency cash pot is important, but also knowing that no job is secured. So the question is, if I want to be very serious about financial freedom, how am I going to leave my financial plan, financial earnings, my income in the hands of someone else? Totally full. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a job, don't get me wrong, but it's a case of having one income stream dependent on someone else. I mean, I always say this, and a lot of people say, "Oh, maybe you think it's easy. It's easier for you just because you run your own business and you've been doing property for a long time, so it's easier." But absolutely not. It was a conscious effort. Remember, we said earlier, it's not a decision you just wake up tomorrow and then say, "I've arrived at this decision." It's a journey. But the truth is, when are you starting that journey, and how can you actually achieve all of the things that Esther just talked about? For me, the major thing is multiple streams of income. And one of the reasons why I do my so many numerous free content to let people know how they can get into. I mean, obviously property is my thing, but that's not the only thing I do. But then even with property, again, there's a misconception. People think, for me to make money in property, I have to actually buy a property and do that. There's loads of free low capital strategies to get into property. I'm not aware of. And I know this is not just about property, but I'm just making you understand the idea that having multiple streams of income is very key. And by the way, just a quick plug in, if you want any information about property and you don't know how to sort of get started, I have loads of free content. So if you go to bit.ly/icon free videos, bit.ly/icon free videos, then you can get some other content to actually start on that journey. But Esther, what would be your take in terms of multiple streams of income? I know you have more than one source of income. You went this at the beginning, but do you really think that's something? Because anyone is at I'll say call it as a mid stage of their life, they can't all of a sudden eliminate those kids that they've got that are costing them a lot. There's a mortgage there. There's a lot of things. So I am in the stage where I feel like I am committed to this course. How do I get a grip on all of this?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Having more than one income stream is essential, right? It's essential. It should be a part of everybody's goal. And there's different ways, because we're all different. We all have different skill set. We all have different interests. There's different ways that you can have more than one income stream, but it's something that everybody should consider, whether that's in business, in property, in stocks, whether you're even having two jobs, whether you have your main job and you're consulting on the side, or you have things that you're doing on the side. I think it's essential. It's important. Like I said earlier, we put too much strain on our money. So for me, at the start of my financial journey, and even now, like my job, my contract job and my 9 to 5, that just pays my bills. It's my side hustles that I use to build wealth with. And so even when I had resigned from my job last year, I was doing my business full time for 2 weeks, and I actually missed having the second income stream. I was like, I could just focus on my business, but actually this journey for me, it's a lot more easier. It's a lot more pleasurable. And you're not putting too much stress on one source of income. So when I had switched full time to my business, I just felt it was too much strain on my business, to rely on my business to pay my bills, to give me the lifestyle and do all those things. And even as a business owner, you know, in your business, you're not going to have just one way of making money, right? In your services, you will have different packages. You know, you have maybe your low ticket, your high ticket. You have different prices for different things. And again, that's having multiple streams of income. In property, you could just be a buy and hold person, or you could be someone who is, you know, renting houses, or you could be someone.
See, we do multiple property income because you can't stick to one.
There you go. So I think it's you know, in everything you do, in your job, in business, in everything, having multiple income streams is important. And I think having a business, it just gives you the flexibility. You have more choices, right? In my job, I have limitations because I have somebody that I'm working for. It's what they want. But in my business, I get to choose who I want to serve, how I want to serve them. And for me in my business, that's been my journey the past 2 years. I've been really intentional about, yes, I want to help people with financial management, but guess what? It's not everybody I want to help, right? I have my personality. I want somebody that understands me, that I understand them. And so I have had to niche even in my business because I want that flexibility to choose who I want to serve, you know, and you want something that's scalable. As you are working on your side hustles or your different income streams, you want it to be something that you can repeat again and again and again, that you can duplicate. And that thing eventually, yes, in the beginning, you have to invest. You have to invest, right? And I was saying to somebody the other day, no investment is guaranteed. And that's what people get wrong. So for a lot of people, they have the mindset that I won't do this thing unless I know it will make me money. Well, guess what? You will never know, because people who invest, they take on that risk, right? But having somebody like yourself who is an expert, who's able to guide them, who's able to answer their questions is the most important thing. So yeah, everybody just needs to have multiple income streams.
Esther, I could keep talking to you for over and over. There's a lot I want to dig into, and maybe something we're gonna have to get you on for part 2, because I'd love to talk about the debt management. I'd love to talk about your journey and how drill down, because I think if anyone is listening to this, I would definitely recommend you going over again and listening, because there are a lot of things that are packed in what Esther's talked about. You've been able to build a business, scale it up, understanding where you are at your current stage and seeing how you can manage it, reducing your debt. There's just so much she's talked about today that I honestly do not think you can just get it all on in just one go. And it just shows the scale and the journey that you've been on. And I'm so glad that you've obviously been on this path, because not only have you done this, then you can actually help loads of people. Most of our listeners actually get the same thing, get the same life, because the truth is, once you get to that life, the freedom of choosing, because I think we're just being made that way as human beings. We love to choose. We love freedom. We thrive on freedom. And a lot of people for so long have felt prisoned in the life that they live in just because of the choices they've made or some fundamentals that they've missed. So it is very, very key that you've been able to sort of go through. But I know that there's only so much you can go through within the space of time that we have got. Is there any way you can work with anyone who's looking to actually scale it all back, start all over again, or do whatever it is that they need to do? Is there any way you work with people? Is there any resources you can give to our listeners? Or how can anyone thinking, oh my goodness, I love what Esther is giving, how can we reach you?
I think they can just start off by following me on Instagram at Boss of My Money. Like yourself, I offer a lot of free content. So even if you can't invest in me, by paying for my services or getting my services. Just implement the free things, you know, like Toyin has free resources for a lot of people. If you just listen and implement, right, you would even make progress, right? So when you're ready to make the investment, you've already made progress and you're ahead of the journey. So follow me on Instagram at Boss of My Money. I also have a podcast as well at Boss of My Money. I've actually niched to working with new contract workers. I do work with people who have a 9 to 5. I help them with financial planning. So if you're in a 9 to 5 and you just need someone to help you set the plan, Esther, where do I start from? You know, this is my situation. How can I assess my finances and have that plan? What is it that I need to focus on? I can help you do that. And for people, contract workers who used to do 9 to 5 and have switched, because contract working is it's a different kind of area when it comes to financial management. As you would know as a business owner, how you manage your money is different from somebody who has a 9 to 5. So if you're a new contract worker, I have a 90 days coaching program that I do. But the best place is hang out with me on Instagram.
Here you go. Hang out with Esther on Instagram. You get loads of free content. But guys, I always encourage this. Please never be afraid to invest in yourself. That's the best gift you can give yourself. It's the self-development journey. So even if you have to pay to get the loads, the information that Esther's giving, please give yourself that, because it's easy to actually spend on all of the liabilities, but this is actually an asset because it's a gift that will keep giving when you invest in yourself. So please ensure to not shy away from investing and paying for your own future. It will keep giving you, it will keep yielding a lot of benefits. Esther, thank you so much for joining us today. I am super, super grateful. I've learned a lot. I'm going to listen to this again myself because it's just been a lot of gems you've given to us today. So thank you so much from Financial Freedom Now show. We're so glad to have you on. And any lasting words before we leave?
I just want to say thank you, Toyin, for having me. I've really enjoyed our conversation. And yeah, I can't wait to listen back as well, because just hearing me speak about it is also encouraging to myself. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. You've heard it, guys. Here's the Financial Freedom Now show. We have loads of great guests like Esther giving you loads of nuggets. The idea is to help you on your path. We want you to succeed. We want you to achieve financial freedom, because I always say that one of my main goals in life is to help you achieve financial freedom, because when you do that, you can go ahead and solve many of life's problems. So we have a calling, we all have a goals, and a lot of times I find that financial money and financial difficulties holds a lot of people back. So if I can help you on your journey and help you achieve financial freedom, then I know that you can go and do the wonderful things that you are created for. So please keep listening, follow, share, like, do everything, but please make sure you implement and take action. Until next time, stay blessed and thank you. Thank you, Esther, once again. Bye.